Welcome back, Pythoners. In this video, we will read from JSON files and write to JSON files. And similar to CSV files, we have this. We have a library that's already built in that handles this for us, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So we import JSON, and JSON has two functions that we like. We have JSON load and loads, and we have a JSON dump and dumps. We will see soon the use of it. But first, let's set up the same structure. We'll do the def main, we'll do pass, and then we'll do our construct here. If name is a main script, main. And then here we could just run main. We have it simple. And then we can start with, we're reading from a JSON file. So def read from JSON. Right now just say pass, and then def write to JSON. We have everything in place, and the first thing we will cover is read from JSON. There we go. No terminal, nothing. Great. So we will see something very interesting when we look at JSON. So this is JSON. It has the exact same structure as our dictionaries. We have the curly braces, we have the key and the values. So I can technically copy this, and then we can just temporarily create some data here. Let's say because we only have one item there, we'll do student data for now, and then I'll paste it in. And then I think we might, there's a problem with pasting the tab, and I think this will be fine. I guess we'll find out soon. We just do a print to see that we get no errors. I can remove this pass for now. I can run. We see I'm printing out my dictionary. Great. So what JSON allows us to do, it allows us to parse. The word is parse. I mean, it reads the file, because remember, it's still text, but we will often not find it perhaps in this format. This is a readable format that many tools like editors or browsers have extensions that do something called prettify or pretty. It has something called pretty or prettify. But often when we're using this to send data, exchange data between different softwares or APIs from one computer to another, it minimizes it. So it might look like this, because all that empty space takes file size. So now this is a small JSON file, so it doesn't affect us that much. But if we have like really large files, not including these spaces will actually save us some size, the memory size of the file. But at the same time, as humans, we're often reading this, it would be hard for us to read. So we want actually this kind of format. So we have this dictionary now. Now I want to, let's pretend that this up here is JSON. But when it's JSON, it's actually a string. So we would have, let's see, let's convert it to JSON. So as we said, we can have like this. We can do like this. You can say it's this. It has no spaces. Now we're creating a JSON. We remove this space as well, and then this space, and then the difference. Now I'm gonna this time put actually single quotation marks just so it's easier to read. So this is it. This is a text. We don't see it, but when we parse it, this is what we're gonna get back. So now instead of printing directly, I'm gonna say parsed data. I've converted it from a string, because if we look here, if I put my mouse here, this is now a string. And I can actually help us. I'll just put it here to be clear. It will help us figure error. And then here, what we're gonna want is a dictionary. So I'm gonna use JSON.loads. And we see it expects a string or bytes or byte error. And here I'm gonna pass in the student data. Now if I put my mouse over here, it says any, but this is really what we expect it to be is a dictionary. So I should be able to get individual keys. For example, I want the first name. So I could say parse data, we do the square brackets, and we say first name. And then we do the same for last name, parse data, last name. And then last was our age, right? So age parse data. Age. And now I expect when I print this should work. So let's try it. First name. We actually copy our old CSV here to save time when we use this, but instead of row, we will let's close this for a second. No, we don't want that right now. Let's do like this. So being lazy, we also need print. Let me just do this. But then okay, I don't think I saved time here, if I'm to be honest. Wow. Okay. I think I'm gonna just confuse you, so I'm just gonna do it normally. Then we had our last name is age years old. And then let's run it and see what happens. John Doe is 50 years old. Great. So this is how it kind of looks. Now, instead of the student data here, I'm going to read this from the file. So what do? We use the same construct in the CSV file. Let's close this. Let's see. When we use the with statement. So for example, this was if we had already read the file. And now I'm going to do something here. I'm going to say with open. Then we have our file, which is inside the data, students, CSV. And then we don't have to specify read, but we can do that just to be clear. And then we can do encoding, UTF-8, and then as file. And then here, we use the JSON loads. So exactly the same way, just instead of student data, like that. So I'm just gonna put this, create this as if it's a fake situation, and then we don't need this, right? And now say, instead of loads here now, I'm just gonna do load. Because loads expected, let's see, JSON load, and then I pass in my file. So what would be the difference here? When we look at JSON loads, it doesn't tell us much, and neither does loads. There's a difference if we look at the return value. And here it just says any. Here it says deserializes an instance containing a JSON document to a Python object. So something we can use. While if we take a look at load, it doesn't really tell us much either. But let's see what happens if I run it now. Should it work the same? No. We got a JSON decode error. So this is one of the expected errors when we dealt with the file logic. So we need to handle this differently. So if we take a look here, what have we missed? We're passing in the CSV file. Oh, right. My bad. I passed in the CSV file. Let's do JSON. So there. This is what we expect. We should be expecting a key value of first name John, last name Doe, age 50. Okay, let's run it again. And now it works. John Doe is 50 years old. So there was really no difference. What happens if I use JSON loads? Is there a difference? Yes. It must be a string, bytes, or byte. So here we had only one object. We only expect to have, but sometimes we want a list. For example, we even call the file students, but I might have had, let's get a new one. Let's see if I can copy this one. Say we're storing settings, or say you create a game or an application and you're storing the settings. But for now, I'm just going to say student because it's like a single student. Then it's nice to have one object. You might have 10 different keys, things that you will use. So that's the use case. And now it will, if we run it, but I will go student instead. We have that. But when we want many rows similar to CSV, we want this kind of, we want the structured data, this usable thing. Maybe we're storing a lot of records about something, data points for future analysis, logs, anything really, leaderboards. Then we don't want to do JSON load, then we do JSON loads. So let's see what happens if I now try the JSON loads approach. So I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna comment this out for a second. Now we'll see a little difference. Now I want that file, but here we're gonna, sorry, close that, close the singular. Now I'm gonna Control X to cut this out. I'm going to put the square bracket. I'm going to paste that in. Let's do the formatting. Let's help out a bit here, just so it looks better. We can see we can copy with this indentation. Then I'll do a comma here. I'll do another one, but this one will do Jane, and I think it was 40 in our other examples, and I just move it back so it's easier to read. So a list, we're storing a list of students, their data. And here we're reading the students file, but now instead of load, we're going to do loads. And now since we will have a collection, a list, we will have to iterate through it. So we can do for record, or if you want for student in, we can say student data, perhaps easier, in parse data. So we have a list of objects, JSON objects, or a dictionary now for us when we did this. And I can do tab, I take the student data, replace by parse data, because it's for each iteration. And then the print statement should be as well inside the for loop. You can do it like that. Let's see what happens. The JSON object must be string bytes or byte array, not text array wrapper. So what have we missed here? We have all the keys. Let's see. Why does my loads not work? There's one thing I missed, I think. We expect a string. So there's one thing I think we missed here. Could it be that we have to manually... let's see if we do load instead. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that works. Why have they changed loads? Okay. So it's the same interface. We use JSON load for both. But for this one, we had to use loads because it was as a string. Sometimes we will get data like this, where it has actually this kind of form. It's surrounded by single quotation mark. I haven't seen that much, but it could happen. Then in that case, we will use loads. So here, okay. I think of it like this. If you receive data as a string directly, as we have here in this approach, when we have what we call a JSON string, then we use .loads. But if we read the file and then load it directly and pass it to load, then we can use just load. But I think there's another use case here, and I think that's if we read it as a text. So let's see if I am correct here. Let's see. Data as string. Let's call it there. And I do file, and we use our read method that we learned in the text files. And then here instead, I'll do data string. No. Then it doesn't because it's a JSON. Okay. Then we know. Then we know what we shouldn't be doing. So that's read from JSON. Now let's move to write to JSON. Remember, JSON.load. Okay, let's see. Now to write to JSON, it's a pretty similar interface. It's not so much different. And it's very useful because we can convert Python objects pretty easily to JSON compared to other forms. So now let's say can we reuse something. Let's take the student JSON. Copy that. That's great. Let's create a just called student data. And then I'll see if I can improve the indentation there. Now we have some data, and now I want to write it to a JSON file. And this time I'm not going to write it to the data folder just so we have a difference. Let's say with open, and I'm just gonna go to where I am right now, the root, and say student data.json. And then we have write. I have to specify it because read default. I can say encoding, and we can say UTF-8, and then as file. And then here we now use something called dump. And here we pass in the dictionary, student data. And there's actually something else we can pass in. Well, I just want to show you what happens if I don't pass it in. So now instead of read to JSON, I'm gonna comment this out and then write to JSON, and then let's run it. We get some error here. Missing one required precision argument. We have to pass in something else. Go back here. Dump, right. What did I forget? The file will even help us with FP. Not very specific, but if we put our mouse over here, we see the object and the FP, which is the file path. So let's not forget the file that we have access out to through here. And now let's run it. No good. No errors. Here we have student data. But see, we get this shape. At least we have spaces here, but it's all in one row. Can we not make this more readable? Yes, we can. We can pass in something called indent, because it's we who's going to read this. This is like some local file. We're not going to pass this to some API. Maybe, as I said, we have settings or history. Then I run it. No errors. I go back here. Much easier to read now. Two indentations. While here we had 4 by default, I think. Up to you which one you prefer. So that's pretty simple, easy, you know. So when, in conclusion, when we want to read JSON, we will be using JSON load, as we saw at top. When we want to write JSON, we will use JSON dump. And remember, everything is case sensitive, so we really got to check our key names. Small spelling errors, as you saw me when I did my errors, can cause different errors. We can also get key errors, similar to in CSV when I failed to write the correct field names. And then if it fails to, when it loads, we can get JSON decode error because we might not have commas, quotes, braces. We're missing some of the structure, right? So it's pretty nice. You should know that you can convert pretty much anything to JSON strings, not just dictionaries. We can create a list. For example, I could have done this if we had do the second example instead. We can pretend we have now, we comment this out. Then after here, now let's say students data. I'll copy this out. I'll do the square brackets. And then we have this. Let me do like this, comma. Wait, let me indent this as well. This is our John Doe. I think we need to bring that indentation as well. I can do like this. We don't have to reformat, and then I'll do a different age. And then here, we don't have it's students data now. And then let's run it. And then let's open this. And now we see we have this list of data. So might be storing a list of something, records, history, whatever. So there are a lot of things we can pretty easily convert and, you know, to JSON and from JSON to our Python objects. Dictionary becomes, our dictionaries in Python become objects, a list in this JSON format becomes an array, int becomes number, you know, the JSON types. Yeah, and we saw how we could format very easily. And I think we can also do a lot of this, but not so important right now. I think we can sort keys actually, if I remember. Let's look at the interface. We put our mouse here. We see what's available. Do we have something called sort? Yes, we have sort keys. It's false by default. What happens if I do it? Then I expect age to come first. Let's put true. Let's run it again. All right, nice. Age first, last. Cool. So yeah. That's it for this video. We're done with file handling. On to pandas.